Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by Arrowhead at Mountain Spring Water. Chris McGee, Derek Fisher, Big Game James Worthy, Mike Bresnahan. We got Mike Trudell down at the arena. The Lakers roll into Oklahoma City with a lot of pressure on them in the standings, and they deliver their probably most impressive performance of the season as they beat OKC by 27 points. They built up a 29-point lead in that first half and were really never threatened, guys. Not sure what was more impressive for me. Was it that first half scoring 78 points, building up that lead, tying a franchise high record with 15 threes, or was it the way they handled that third quarter in a mature way and didn't let OKC back in the game? Season high 22 threes, and for the 12th time this season, James, holding OKC under 100 points. Impressive.
Yeah, I have to say it was. It was impressive. Timely victory, a timely, decision to realize where you are in the standings and how important these games are going out against the best team in the West. And, your sense of urgency was there from the beginning, and they got the lead in the third, and it remained there. I thought the swarming defense on Shea early in the game, he couldn't get easy shots. No one really could. The defense was in help mode. And then, Luka doing what he does, finding guys for open threes. Is franchise high? We tied a franchise high in the first half, season high 22. So, and it was all
game.
due to, really good execution and rebounding. I thought Vinny Smith, again, demonstrating that, he's going to be a productive guy off the bench, along with Gabe Vincent. So a good collective effort. And then you said the third quarter, where we've been, failing to hang on to the leads. I thought they came out with, a sense of urgency in the third. And it got away from them a little bit, but they were able to, hold off and maintain their lead and get the victory.
By the way, sorry, James, it tied a franchise high, 22-3.
I know it was up there.
Pretty impressive performance.
Yeah, no, it was from start to finish. I mean, in a 48-minute game, there's going to be ups and downs in your performance, some breakdowns defensively, a couple bad offensive possessions here or there, but you have to give the Lakers credit for going in with a really, true business-like mindset of wanting to win this game. Their sense of urgency was greater than the Thunder, and that's how
more at stake.
That's how both teams played. They had to win this game in a sense. That wasn't on the table for OKC, but that doesn't change. You still have to go out there and do your job, and I thought the Lakers did that. To me, you could tell the Thunder also, a lot of the whistles that they are accustomed to getting, you don't get those against the Lakers. You just don't. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of it. There's more guys whose names we recognize on the Lakers than on OKC Thunder. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of the NBA. And I thought they fell into that trap a little bit today as the game turned. They did get focused on the officials and expecting calls. Lakers just kept playing, took care of business.
Yeah, for the first time, OKC since November has lost back-to-back games. That was after winning 12 in a row. They still hold a one-game lead over Cleveland for the best record in the league. Let's go back to Oklahoma City. The Dawn is with Mike Trudell.
All right, Luka, a very impressive win for you guys here against the Western Conference leaders. Really set the tone in that first quarter. I think 42-32 was the mark. What got into you guys to really execute to that level?
I think the whole team was inspired because Real Madrid won El Clasico basketball today. No, I'm kidding. That was me. That was it.
Well, that's right, because I brought up before we went on air, I was talking about soccer yesterday, but you, of course, played basketball for Real Madrid. Fair enough. I know where your heart is there. But now with that acknowledged, and we know how good Real Madrid is, what was it in the first quarter, Luka, that got you guys going?
Our defense. I think we started aggressive. Jay just said before the game, we got to start aggressive, physical, and that's what we did.
All right, Luka, tell me about the pass to Gabe Vincent. You were standing right about here and flipped it over your head. At what point did you decide that's how you were going to get on the ball?
I don't know exactly. Sometimes I just decide things that sometimes are good, sometimes not. But I knew that he was standing behind me in the corner. That's a pretty good pass, I think.
Pretty good pass, all right.
But he made it, so that's a tough shot to make.
For sure. Well, look, a lot of your teammates hit threes tonight. Do you think, is there something collective about shooting sometimes when you see your teammates making shots, then that helps everybody else get going too?
Yeah, definitely, especially when we get shots like that, like this. I think we had a lot of open shots. We were driving the ball, sharing the ball, so I think that's the best offense we had.
Okay, last one for you. You play again in a couple days in this building. You, of course, played the Thunder last year in a tough playoff series. You know what it's like to play 2 games in a row. What's going to be the key, as you know they're going to come out pretty strong?
We got to come out with the same mentality, number one in the West for a reason. They're a very tough matchup, but we gotta come out with the same mentality.
All right, thanks, Luka.
Perez, let's get your comments as we look at the Lakers threes. 15 in the first half, which ties a franchise record for most threes in a half. 78 points in the half was the most OKC gave up all year, and the Lakers really took it to them. You heard Luka talk about kind of JJ's message before the game. 8 different guys hit threes. DFS, I thought Dorian Finney-Smith, Doe, and Gabe were huge off the bench, 4 each as well. And like James said in Fish, the ball was moving, and they were executing.
I can't tell you enough how much this team in just a few short months has completely reconfigured itself. You went from an AD and LeBron dominate the paint type of mindset to, hey, let's outscore OKC by 30 behind the arc. I mean, it is stunning to me. It started with the acquisition of Dorian Finney-Smith a few days after Christmas, obviously continued by getting Luka at the trade deadline. And this team has really reimagined itself. They are fun to watch. And defensively, they out-thundered the Thunder today. You and I talked on the pregame show, Al and I talked on the pregame show about how good OKC has been defensively. They force a ton of turnovers. They get a ton of points off turnovers. They're number 1 in steals, number 2 in block shots. Today, the Lakers were clearly the more dominant team defensively. That was fun to watch, start to finish. Only one other game has shocked me as much as this. When they went into Denver at the end of February, won by 23. Let's just be a lesson to the entire NBA. The Lakers are absolutely a championship contender going into these good cities, these good teams, and destroying them on their home court.
And I'll say this, James, as we kind of go from the three-pointers, which are more fun to talk about on the offense and the ball moving, to really the defense is a huge story in this game. I mean, Fish mentioned it. They played good defense without fouling a lot. They also out-rebounded OKC by now. Now, obviously, that had a lot to do with the way the Lakers were shooting, but the Lakers' attention to detail, and you could just tell from the start of the game, their activity defensively, the way they were rotating, they were dialed in this game, and they had to be. They had to be. With 5 games left, the pressure going on in the standings, this was a game, as Fish said, they had to get.
I think they realized that, you know, look, as well as they are offensively and they can get shots, you're not going to get this amount of threes a lot, you know, but I thought they were very aware of what they had to do defensively. Starting with Shea, they shadowed him and they played good defense, forced him into the help. He took some tough shots in the first half that were, you know, he makes a lot of them, but he was under duress. And I thought the rotations were good. I thought the collective rebounding was pretty good. There was a moment there where they gave up some extra possession, but I think that was due to the long shots, the long three, and the long rebounds that were coming out. But to have that sustained in the third quarter was most important, and that's where they've been kind of slacking off a little bit when they get these big leads. But I thought they were able to sustain the defense and not give Oklahoma anything easy, you know, collectively. They usually get a lot of shots. Jalen, you know, Shea, they get a lot of, you know, players involved. But I just thought the Lakers defense was really good today. They moved very well, rotated well, communicated well, and they got the win.
The biggest thing about OKC and what makes them lethal with SGA, you know, as an MVP candidate is how many times he gets to the free throw line individually on a night-to-night basis, which allows them to set the #1 ranked defense in the league.